Hello again, YouTube, or anybody that's on and listening. I decided to go from 2 and the most recent one I made. So, I'm going to just talk through this instead. So if you don't want to listen to me babbling on, you can go on and hit mute. So this is comic 2, and I'm still trying to work out the kinks of how to make good jokes and making flashbacks. Well, this is what this one is mainly about. But if you don't get the jokes, I wouldn't be too surprised. I'm trying to, was trying to figure out new jokes, new ideas, and they exactly work out. So, well, in the beginning that is. So this is one of my other attempts at a good idea, comic 2. Now, we're going to skip back to comic 3. We'll skip 2. Now, I decided to include a huge army in this one, which makes it look like there's a huge invasion coming. Now, for those of you that don't understand at the end, or don't understand what people are saying, mainly the army, it's because I used the wrong color, printing. What they're saying right in one of the scenes is, they'll fire immediately. And what the bomber is saying right about now is, he's dropping his payload, which is the bombs that he's holding in the not cockpit, but in the hold. Then the whole chaos control and stopping time, which kind of looks interesting, but that's because I couldn't figure out how to use the invert color yet on paint, so I had to put it in black and white. Well, the closest thing I can get for black and white, and make it look interesting by freezing things. I still love time stopping and stuff like that. I like those kind of movies and shows. Of course, other people don't really find them that good because sometimes... Oh, this part would be the chess. Yes, Surge the Hedgehog beat them in a chess game. Not in a battle, but a chess game. And we continue on to the next one. For comic 4. Sorry, count there. This one is off an idea of the game Ace Online. I mean, well, it's called Air Rivals now, but besides the point, I got the idea of brigades and flying vehicles all over the place, so I decided to do this, which looks kind of interesting if you look at it. Taking advanced war vehicles and recoloring them into a different pattern, and then make a huge fighting scene, well, as much as I can. Allergies are killing me. Well, anyways, I put a few gags in, like fighters dropping bombs instead of throwing missiles about. And you find out it's all an online game at the end, instead of a huge battle. That's how I got the whole idea. And we're about to go to comic 5. So I find boring you to death. It's something I seem to do a lot, on accident. Now, I decided to do something different. I decided to go for a Final Fantasy look. I was kind of into Final Fantasy, so I decided, why not try doing this? Which was kind of an interesting idea. Giving each character a different attack, ability, and so forth. And you see Surge burning a tank, which causes 183 damage. Then the enemy attacks, and they get damaged as well. I would advise checking into the Final Fantasy game, because it's kind of like Pokemon, but at the same time, it makes the adventure a little longer. And you don't have to catch things, you just have to gain abilities. Personally, I'm still confused on the game, because I went around the world on accident without even knowing it. Yeah, surprising. Well, as you can see, this is what I did with what I could. Now, if only I can make it all move. That's a step I haven't figured out how to make yet. So, if anybody has suggestions on that, please let me know. Now, comic 6 is one of my more best ones. It shows each person's life, everyday life, or what it's basically like for them. For Lily, she's cooking, so you get the idea of what she does. And Dash, well, he's known to just run about like Sonic. So I just recolored him and re-edited him that way. And you see Serge just laying there asleep, and they're wondering what his life is about. Well, let me put it in plain sense. His life is whatever goes on in my mind, which you're about to see very soon. Whatever goes on in my mind, you get the idea of what I'm thinking. Well, like to think, most of the time. Now, I have to say sorry about the little scream from one of the talking pieces, but... Oh, by the way, for those of you that sometimes can't figure out who's talking, I tried color coding it, as you can see, for who's trying to say what. For example, Dash is black, Lily has blue, and Serge has more of reddish or yellow. If you're wondering who's who, Dash would be the silver hedgehog, Lily, the blue hedgehog, and then you'd figure out who Serge is at the end. Now, this is the adventures as just kids, or as much as I put it, as a like 10-year-old or so forth. Comic 7 wasn't exactly my best idea, but I guess I was bored out of my mind, so I decided to do something. So I decided, well, why not I try putting my new idea in this, which is mainly, well, tanks. Yes, tanks. Why tanks? Because I like tanks. Why do I like tanks? Because they make very big booms when they make things explode, which is kind of fun. So I decided to make a tank type of little comic. So, yeah, that's the tank I built, using parts that I find in spear thingamajiggers. And instead of the tanks fighting each color, they're all attacking one, which would be Serge's. Serge in these comics is a mechanical genius, somewhat. Not exactly a genius like Tails, knowing what he's doing, but more of a mechanical genius like he feels like building something, he builds it, but has no idea what it does. Only figures out what it does later on, so he may accidentally make a party favor out of a machine gun. Yeah, ridiculous. Kind of like that big giant gaping hole. Yeah. So, what? We're about to go to comic 8, which is going to be a little more interesting than the others because since I was doing all the jokes on the previous ones, I needed somebody else to help. So, there's another character that comes in called Blast. As you can see, he's a robotic looking character for Mega Man, instead of like Sonic the Hedgehog or Advanced Wars. And I had one of my friends help me make him, so I decided to use different color text for him. This one is a little more funnier because it gives you ideas on how the instructor sometimes feels when new juveniles try driving, and kind of gives you the idea on how nervous I kind of feel like driving. I think it's about being nervous. Well, I just don't feel like it really, I guess. So, this gives you an idea of how Lily's going her first driving lesson, and how the great General Blast is scared out of his wits. Yeah, the rental I gave him kind of broke down. Yeah, I play as Serge the Hedgehog instead of as any other character, which is kind of interesting in a way. Makes things kind of funny, because I seem to know exactly what to say. And then we go to Comic 9, or, for once, a title, which is... What was the title again? Well, I can't exactly remember the title. Anyways, there's somebody trying to fix a car, and I happen to be walking along. Decide to help him. Well, I had somebody else help me with this one, since I couldn't get my other friend to help, so I decided to ask somebody else. And he helped greatly on this, actually. I should probably ask him to be this character right here, which is Bass Cross, Mega Man Bass Cross. Or Bass Cross, I can't exactly remember how it's said. Well, in any case, you get the idea of what happens, and what each character says, and what get... Oh, sorry. Time's up. YouTube time is so short.